Captain Baksu stared at the scanner readings for the third time. The numbers were the same. Something was alive out there in the floating metal scraps. His ship, the Silent Current, had been picking through this debris field for 2 weeks now. Old ship parts, broken engines, twisted metal beams, nothing special, nothing valuable, just junk floating in space. But now the scanner showed a life sign. "Nari, come look at this," Baksu called to his engineer. She was a small woman with quick hands and a sharp mind. She could fix anything on the ship, and she knew technology better than anyone else he had worked with. Nari walked over from the engine controls. Her boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. She looked at the scanner and frowned. "That cannot be right. Nothing could live out there. The radiation would kill any living thing in hours." "The scanner does not lie," Baksu said. He turned to the pilot's seat where Wu Jin sat. The young man was good at flying, but he was also brave. Maybe too brave sometimes. "Wu Jin, can you get us closer to that signal?" "Sure thing, Captain," Wu Jin said. His fingers moved over the controls. The Silent Current turned slowly and moved toward the weak signal. Through the front window, they could see pieces of destroyed ships floating past them. Some pieces were as big as their own ship. Others were tiny fragments that sparkled in the starlight. Sun Hee, their medic, came up from the lower deck. She had been checking their medical supplies. "I heard you found something interesting," she said. Sun Hee was older than the rest of them, and she had seen many strange things in space. But she was also careful. She did not like taking risks with unknown aliens. "Maybe," Baksu said. "We will see." As they got closer, they could see it. A small escape pod, badly damaged. It was spinning slowly, end over end. Burn marks covered its surface. Part of one side was completely gone. It should have been empty, dead, but the scanner still showed life inside. "That pod is from a ship design I do not know," Nari said. She was studying the readings. "The metal is strange. The power system is different from anything in our databases." "Should we call this in to the authorities?" Sun Hee asked. "Unknown alien species need to be reported. There are rules about first contact." Baksu thought about this. The authorities were far away. By the time they arrived, whatever was in that pod would be dead, if it was not dead already. "How long do you think it has been out there?" he asked Nari. "Hard to say. The damage looks recent. Maybe a few days. Maybe a week." Nari paused. "Captain, if something is still alive in there, it will not be alive much longer. The pod has no power, no life support, no heat." Wu Jin brought the Silent Current close to the damaged pod. Through the window, they could see inside through the hole in its side. A figure was curled up in the pilot's seat. It looked like it might be wearing some kind of spacesuit, but the suit was torn. "It looks almost human," Sun Hee said quietly. She was right. The figure had 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head in the right places, but its size was wrong, too tall, too thin, and its skin looked pale, almost white. "All right," Baksu said. "We bring it aboard. Sun Hee, get ready in the medical bay. Nari, help me with the cargo bay doors. Wu Jin, use the tractor beam to pull that pod inside." "Captain," Sun Hee said, "we do not know what diseases it might carry. We do not know if it is dangerous. We should at least put it in quarantine." "If we put it in quarantine, it will die before we can help it," Baksu replied. "Look at those readings. Whatever it is barely alive now." The tractor beam grabbed the escape pod and pulled it into their cargo bay. Baksu and Nari put on spacesuits and went down to check it out. The pod was even more damaged up close. How anything could still be alive inside was a mystery. Baksu used cutting tools to make the hole in the pod bigger. Nari helped him pull the figure out. It was definitely alive, but barely. Its breathing was shallow and weak. Its skin was cold to the touch. They carried it to the medical bay where Sun Hee was waiting. She had prepared one of the treatment beds, and had her scanners ready. As they placed the alien on the bed, it opened its eyes for a moment. The eyes were dark, almost black. It looked at them with what seemed like confusion and fear. "It is all right," Sun-Hee said softly, even though she knew it probably could not understand her. "We are here to help." The alien's mouth moved. It was trying to say something. The words were in a language none of them recognized. The ship's computer tried to translate, but it could only pick up a few sounds. "Earth," the computer said. "Home. Please." The alien held something in its hand, a small device about the size of a communicator. It was making a soft beeping sound and glowing with a faint blue light. Nari looked at it with interest. "What is that thing?" she asked. "I do not know," Sun-Hee said. She was running medical scans on the alien. "But right now I am more worried about keeping our guest alive. It has radiation poisoning, bad radiation poisoning, and it is suffering from exposure to space." She worked quickly, giving the alien medicine and connecting it to life support systems. The alien's breathing got a little stronger, but it was still very weak. "Captain," Wu Jin called from the bridge. "We have a problem. 3 ships just dropped out of hyperspace. They are heading this way fast." Baksu ran to the bridge. On the scanner, he could see 3 large ships with a design he recognized. Vex collective warships. The Vex were known throughout this part of space as raiders and slavers. They took what they wanted and killed anyone who got in their way. "Are they scanning us?" Baksu asked. "Yes," Wu Jin said, "and they are sending a message." The communication screen lit up. A Vex commander appeared. His face was covered with scales and his teeth were sharp. "Unknown vessel. You have taken something that belongs to us. Return our property immediately, or we will destroy you." Baksu looked at the screen. "I do not know what you are talking about. We are just salvage workers." "Do not lie to us," the Vex commander said. "You have the specimen. We tracked its emergency beacon to your location. Return it now and we might let you live." Baksu thought fast. The alien in their medical bay was not Vex property. It was a living being that had been hurt and needed help. No one owned it. "I am sorry, but I cannot do that," Baksu said. "We found a damaged escape pod with an injured survivor. We are giving medical aid. That is not a crime." The Vex commander's eyes grew angry. "You have 10 minutes to return our property. If you do not, we will take it by force." The communication ended. Baksu turned to Wu Jin. "How fast can we get to hyperspace?" "Not fast enough," Wu Jin said. "Those ships are faster than us, and they are already moving to surround us." "Captain," Nari said over the intercom, "I think you should see this. That device the alien was holding? It just started transmitting something." Baksu ran back to the medical bay. The small device was now glowing much brighter. The beeping had become a steady tone. On Sun-Hee's medical scanner, they could see complex data streaming out from the device. "It is sending a message," Nari said, "but not on any frequency I recognize. This is technology I have never seen before." The alien opened its eyes again. This time it looked directly at Baksu. It tried to speak, and the computer translated a few more words. "Thank you," it said. "Help coming. Earth remembers." Outside, the Vex ships were getting closer. Their weapons were charging up. Baksu made a decision that would change everything. "Wu Jin, get us out of here! Maximum speed!" "Captain, they will catch us," Wu Jin said. "Maybe," Baksu replied, "but we are not giving up our passenger. No one should be treated like property." The silent current's engines roared to life. Behind them, the Vex ships opened fire. The silent current shook as Vex weapons hit their rear shields. Red warning lights flashed on every control panel. Wu Jin's hands moved fast over the pilot controls, trying to keep them alive. "Shields down to 60%, Nari called out from the engineering station. "We cannot take many more hits like that." "How long until we can jump to hyperspace?" Baksu asked. 2 more minutes, Wu Jin said through gritted teeth. He turned the ship hard to the left, avoiding another blast from the Vex ships. Maybe less if I push the engines past their limits. Do it, Baksu said. In the medical bay, Sun-Hee was trying to keep their alien passenger stable while the ship rocked back and forth. The alien had woken up during the attack. Its dark eyes were wide with fear and confusion. It is all right, Sun-Hee said, holding onto the medical bed to keep from falling. We will get you out of here. The alien spoke again. This time the computer caught more words. Sorry, trouble for you, should not have helped. Do not say that, Sun-Hee replied, even though she was not sure if it could understand her. Helping people is never wrong. Another blast hit the ship. This one was stronger. The lights went out for a second before the emergency power kicked in. Shields down to 30%, Nari reported. Captain, if we take another direct hit, we are done for. Hyperspace ready, Wu Jin announced. Jump, Baksu ordered. The stars outside the window stretched into lines of light. The silent current disappeared into hyperspace, just as the Vex ships fired again. Their weapons hit empty space. For several hours, they traveled through hyperspace. Finally, Wu Jin brought them back to normal space near Kepler Station. The station was huge, built from thousands of connected modules. Ships from dozens of different species docked there every day. It was a neutral place where anyone could trade or get repairs. We should be safe here, Baksu said. The Vex do not usually attack neutral stations. They docked at one of the outer rings. Baksu contacted the station administrator, a tall alien called Velkarn. Velkarn had blue skin and 4 arms. He had been running Kepler Station for many years. Captain Baksu, Velkarn said when he appeared on the communication screen. Good to see you again. What brings you to Kepler Station? We have a situation, Baksu explained. We rescued an injured alien from a damaged escape pod. The Vex tried to take it from us by force. They claimed it was their property. Velkarn's expression became serious. That is a grave accusation. Do you have proof? We have recording of their transmission, Baksu said. And we have the survivor. I see. And what species is this survivor? We do not know. It is not in any of our databases. This might be a first contact situation. Velkarn was quiet for a moment. First contact with a new species was a big deal. There were rules about how it should be handled. Bring your passenger to Medical Bay 7. I will meet you there with our xenobiology team. An hour later, they had moved the alien to the station's better medical facilities. The alien was awake and seemed stronger. Sun-Hee had done good work keeping it alive. The station's doctors were amazed by how quickly it was recovering. This species heals very fast, Dr. Kethra said. She was the station's chief medical officer. The radiation damage that should have killed it is already getting better. The alien sat up on the medical bed. It looked around at all the different species in the room. Baksu, Nari, Wu Jin, and Sun-Hee were there. So were Velkarn, Dr. Kethra, and several other station officials. Thank you, the alien said. The translation was much clearer now that the station's computers were helping. My name is Dong Hyun. I am from Earth. Earth? Velkarn asked. We have no record of a planet called Earth. It is far from here, Dong Hyun said. Beyond the outer rim. My people sent a small exploration ship to study this part of space. We were attacked by raiders. My ship was destroyed. My crew was killed. I was the only one who escaped. The Vex claimed you were their property, Baksu said. They said you were a specimen. Dong Hyun's face became angry. I was never their property. They attacked my ship without warning. They killed my friends. When I escaped in the pod, they chased me. They wanted to capture me for study. Dr. Kethra was examining the small device that Dong Hyun had been carrying. This technology is very advanced, she said. More advanced than anything we have seen. How did your people develop it? My people have been watching your part of space for a long time, Dong Hyun said. We have learned much about the different species here. We developed this technology to help us communicate if we ever made contact. Watching us? Velkarn asked. For how long? Many years. Decades. We wanted to understand what kind of civilizations existed out here before we revealed ourselves. Nari was studying the readings from Dong-hyun's device. Captain, this thing is not just a communicator. It is sending signals across vast distances, signals that should be impossible to transmit. I sent a message to my people, Dong-hyun explained. I told them what happened. I told them about Captain Baksu and his crew saving my life. What? Did you tell them exactly? Baksu asked. I told them the truth, that strangers risked their lives to save someone they had never met, that there are good people in this part of space who believe in helping others. Velkarn looked worried. And what will your people do with this information? Dong-hyun was quiet for a moment. My people take care of their own, and they take care of those who help their own. You saved my life when you did not have to. That makes you friends of Earth. How many people live on Earth? Dr. Kethra asked. Many, Dong-hyun said simply. Before anyone could ask more questions, alarms started going off throughout the station. Red lights flashed in the medical bay. Velkarn grabbed his communicator. Administrator to Control Center. What is the situation? Sir, we have multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of the system. Vex collective vessels. They are demanding we surrender the alien specimen and the crew that helped it escape. Velkarn looked at Baksu. It seems your Vex friends followed you here. How many ships? Baksu asked. 15, sir, including 2 heavy cruisers. They are demanding immediate compliance or they will attack the station. Dong-hyun stood up from the medical bed. He seemed completely recovered now. Administrator Velkarn, may I use your long-range communication system? Why? Velkarn asked. I need to send one more message to my people. I need to tell them that the Vex are threatening this station because you helped me. I do not think... That is wise, Velkarn said. Your people are far away. They cannot help us now. Dong-hyun smiled. It was the first time any of them had seen him smile. Administrator, my people have been watching this part of space for a very long time. We have been preparing for the day when we might need to act. That day has come. What do you mean? Baksu asked. I mean that help is already on the way. My first message included our emergency codes. When Earth receives those codes, they send help immediately. How can they send help? Nari asked. You said Earth is beyond the outer rim, that is weeks of travel even with the fastest ships. Not for Earth ships, Dong-hyun said. Another alarm sounded. This time it was different. Not the warning alarm they had heard before, but a contact alarm. Administrator, the control center called. We have new contacts dropping out of hyperspace. Unknown ship designs. They are not in any of our databases. Velkarn, Baksu, and the others rushed to the observation deck. Through the large windows, they could see the Vex fleet in the distance. 15 dark ships arranged in an attack formation. But now there were other ships, too. Ships unlike anything they had ever seen. They were sleek and silver, with smooth lines that seemed to flow like water. Even from a distance, they looked powerful and dangerous. How many? Velkarn asked. 20 ships, sir. They just appeared. No warning. No hyperspace distortion. They were just suddenly there. Dong-hyun joined them at the window. Those are Earth ships, he said calmly. They received my message. But how did they get here so fast? Woo Jin asked. Earth has ways of traveling that other species have not discovered yet, Dong-hyun said. We have been preparing for situations like this for a long time. The Earth ships moved into formation between Kepler Station and the Vex fleet. One of them was much larger than the others. It had to be their command ship. This is Admiral Myung-ho of the Earth Defense Force, a voice said over the station's communication system. We are here to retrieve our citizen and ensure the safety of those who helped him. Vex ships, you will withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The Vex commander responded with anger. Unknown ships, you are interfering with collective business. We claim the specimen by right of capture. Leave now, or be destroyed. Admiral Myung-ho's voice remained calm. You have attacked and killed Earth citizens. You have threatened those who showed mercy to a survivor. This ends now. Admiral, Dong-hyun said into his communicator. Captain Bok-soo and his crew saved my life. They risked everything to help someone they had never met. Station Administrator Velkarn has provided aid and sanctuary. Understood, Admiral Myung-ho replied. Captain Bok-soo, Administrator Velkarn, you are now under the protection of Earth. Anyone who threatens you threatens us. The Vex commander laughed over the communication channel. Threats from primitives. We will take what belongs to us. The Vex fleet opened fire on the Earth ships. What happened next would change everything. The first Vex energy blast should have destroyed the lead Earth ship. Instead, it hit some kind of shield and disappeared like water hitting a wall. The Earth ship did not even shake. Impossible, Velkarn whispered as he watched from the observation. Deck Admiral Myung-ho's voice came over the communication system again. This time it was different, harder, colder. Vex fleet, you have fired upon Earth vessels without provocation. This is an act of war. You have 30 seconds to surrender. The Vex commander responded with more weapons fire. All 15 Vex ships opened up with everything they had. Energy beams, plasma cannons, and missile swarms filled the space between the two fleets. The light from the weapons was so bright that the observation deck windows automatically darkened to protect everyone's eyes. When the light faded, the Earth ships were still there, untouched. Their shields had not even flickered. Your 30 seconds are up, Admiral Myung-ho said. What happened next lasted only minutes, but everyone who saw it would remember it for the rest of their lives. The Earth ships moved forward in perfect formation. They did not fire many weapons. They did not need to. The first Earth ship fired a single beam at the nearest Vex cruiser. The beam was thin and blue, almost pretty to look at. When it touched the Vex ship, the entire vessel simply ceased to exist. Not destroyed, not blown apart. Just gone, as if it had never been there at all. What kind of weapon was that? Nari asked in a whisper. Dong-hyun answered quietly. Matter dissolution beam. It breaks the bonds between atoms. Very clean, very final. The Vex fleet tried to run, but the Earth ships were faster, much faster. They moved through space like they were swimming through water instead of flying through vacuum. One by one, they caught up to the fleeing Vex ships. Some Vex ships surrendered. Those were disabled with weapons that shut down their engines and life support without killing the crew. The ships that kept fighting were destroyed completely. The battle lasted 8 minutes. When it was over, only 5 Vex ships remained intact. All of them were dead in space, their crews alive but helpless. This is Admiral Myung-ho to Kepler Station. The communication came. The immediate threat has been neutralized. Request permission to dock and retrieve our citizen. Velkarn was still staring out the window at where the Vex fleet had been. Permission granted, he said weakly. 2 hours later, Admiral Myung-ho came aboard Kepler Station. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes, but there was something about him that made it clear he was very dangerous when he needed to be. He brought with him Colonel Yoonji and a team of soldiers wearing armor that looked like it was made from liquid metal. Dong-hyun, the admiral said when he saw the young man. Are you hurt? No, sir, Dong-hyun replied. Thanks to Captain Bok-soo and his crew. They saved my life and risked their own ship to protect me from the Vex. Admiral Myung-ho turned to Bok-soo. Captain, Earth owes you a debt. You showed kindness to one of our people when you had no reason to do so. That tells us what kind of person you are. I just did what was right, Bok-soo said. He was still trying to understand what he had just witnessed. Anyone would have done the same. No, Admiral Myung-ho said. Not anyone. We have been watching this part of space for many years. We have seen how most species treat strangers. What you did was special. Colonel Yunji was examining Dong Hyun's communicator device with Nari. This technology is incredible, Nari said. How does it transmit signals faster than light? Quantum entanglement communication, Colonel Yunji explained. We link particles across vast distances. When you change one particle, the other changes instantly, no matter how far apart they are. But that should be impossible, Nari said. Many things that seem impossible become possible with enough time and effort, Colonel Unji replied. Earth has had both. Dr. Kethra was asking Admiral Mayung-ho questions about human physiology. Your healing rate is remarkable. Dong-hyun recovered from radiation poisoning that should have killed him. Humans are adaptable, the Admiral said. We have had to be. Our world taught us to survive in harsh conditions. When we reached space, we learned to survive there too. How long has Earth been spacefaring? Velkarn asked. Several hundred years, Admiral Myung-ho said. But we kept ourselves hidden. We wanted to study galactic civilization before revealing ourselves. Why reveal yourselves now? Velkarn asked. Admiral. Myung-ho looked at Boksu and his crew. Because we found something worth protecting. People who risk their lives for strangers deserve to know they are not alone. Captain So Young, who had been quiet until now, stepped forward. She was younger than the Admiral, but had the same dangerous feel about her. We have been gathering information about every species, every government, every military force in known space. We know about the Vex slave trade. We know about the Corvani war crimes. We know about the Talaxian genetic experiments. How could you know all that? Velkarn asked. We have ways, Captain So-young said. We have been very patient, very careful. We wanted to understand what we were dealing with before we acted. And now you are acting, Velkarn said. Now we are acting, Admiral Myung-ho agreed. Earth is officially announcing its presence to galactic civilization. But we are not asking for permission to exist. We are not requesting membership in your councils. We are stating facts. What facts? Velkarn asked. Fact 1. Earth is now an active power in this region of space. Fact 2. Anyone who harms Earth citizens will face consequences. Fact 3. Anyone who threatens those under Earth protection will face consequences. Admiral Myung-ho turned to Boksu. Captain, you and your crew are now under Earth protection. Anyone who threatens you threatens us. The same goes for Kepler Station and Administrator Velkarn. Why? Boksu asked. Because you did the right thing when it mattered, Admiral Myung-ho said. Because you showed mercy to someone who needed help. Because you proved that this galaxy has good people in it worth protecting. Dong Hyun spoke up. Admiral, I would like to stay here for a while. To help with the contact process. These people saved my life. I want to help them understand what this means. Granted, Admiral Myung-ho said. Colonel Yunji will remain as well with a small security team. Captain So-young will establish our diplomatic presence. What about the surviving Vex crews? Velkarn asked. They will be transported to Earth for trial, Admiral Myung-ho said. War crimes, slavery, murder, the charges are extensive. Trial. By whose authority? Velkarn asked. By Earth authority, Admiral Myung-ho said simply. We do not recognize the right of any government to engage in slavery or genocide. We will act to stop such crimes regardless of local laws. Nari had been studying readouts from the Earth ships on her portable scanner. Captain Boksu, their smallest ship has more firepower than a Galactic Defense Force battleship. Their largest ship could probably destroy an entire fleet by itself. How is that possible? Wu Jin asked. Captain So-young answered. Earth spent 300 years preparing for this moment. We developed new technologies. We built new weapons. We created new forms of space travel. We did all of this in secret, while we watched and learned. 300 years? Sun He asked. How long do humans live? Our natural lifespan is about 100 years, Admiral Myung-ho said. But we have medical technology that can extend healthy life much longer. Some of our leaders have been planning this contact for their entire extended lives. What do you want from us? Velkarn asked. Nothing, Admiral Myung-ho said. We want to trade fairly. We want to establish diplomatic relations. We want to help protect innocent people from those who would harm them. But we do not want to rule anyone. We do not want to control anything. Then what is your goal? Velkarn asked. To make this galaxy a better place, Admiral Myung-ho said. To ensure that what happened to Dong-hyun never happens to anyone else. To create a civilization where helping strangers is normal, not exceptional. Captain So-young activated a holographic display. It showed a map of known space with hundreds of red dots scattered throughout. These are locations where we have detected slavery, genocide, or other crimes against sapient beings. Over the next year, Earth forces will be visiting each of these locations. You are talking about war, Velkarn said. We are talking about justice, Admiral Myung-ho corrected. Most of these situations can be resolved through negotiation and economic pressure. Some cannot. For those, we are prepared to use force. And if the major powers unite against you? Velkarn asked. Admiral Myung-ho smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. Administrator, what you saw today was 20 ships from our border patrol fleet. Earth has over 10,000 ships of war. Most of them are much larger than what you saw today. The observation deck fell silent. 10,000 ships, each one more powerful than anything in known space. But remember, Admiral Myung-ho continued, his voice becoming warm again. We did not come here to conquer. We came here because Captain Baksu proved that there are good people in this galaxy. People worth protecting. People worth fighting for. He turned to Baksu one more time. Captain, you saved one human life. In doing so, you may have saved countless others. Earth will not forget that. As Admiral Myung-ho and most of his team prepared to leave, Dong-hyun approached Baksu and his crew. Thank you, he said. All of you. You risked everything for a stranger. That is something special. News of what happened at Kepler Station spread across the galaxy faster than anyone expected. Within days, every major government knew about Earth and the destruction of the Vex fleet. Most species reacted with caution and curiosity. The Vex Collective reacted with rage. Supreme Commander Zorkek of the Vex 7th Fleet received his orders directly from the Collective High Command. Find these humans. Destroy them completely. Show the galaxy what happens to those who challenge. Vex Authority. Zorkek was a veteran of dozens of campaigns. He had destroyed entire worlds that resisted Vex rule. He commanded 200 ships, including some of the most powerful vessels in the collective fleet. He was confident that these upstart humans would learn the price of interfering with Vex business. Meanwhile, Captain Baksu found himself in a place he had never imagined. He was aboard an Earth ship traveling toward the human home system. Admiral Myung-ho had invited him and his crew to visit Earth as honored guests. The invitation came with full diplomatic protection and a promise that they would see things no non-human had ever seen before. The Earth ship they traveled on was called the Harmony. It was smaller than Admiral Myung-ho's flagship, but still larger than most vessels Baksu had ever seen. The technology aboard was beyond anything he could have imagined. The walls seemed to be made of a material that was both metal and something else. The floors were soft under their feet, but strong enough to support heavy equipment. How does your ship travel so fast? Nari asked Commander Taeho, the ship's captain. We covered more distance in one day than our ship could cover in a month. Spatial compression drive, Commander Taeho explained. We fold space around the ship, making distances shorter. It is much faster than traditional hyperspace travel. But the energy requirements must be enormous, Nari said. They are, but Earth has solved the energy problem. Commander Taeho led them to an observation window, Outside, they could see something impossible. They were traveling through what looked like a tunnel made of twisted space. Stars streaked past them in patterns that hurt to look at directly. "What is that?" Wu Jin asked, pointing to a bright light ahead of them. "That is Earth's sun," Commander Taeho said. "We will arrive in a few hours." When they dropped out of the spatial compression field, Baksu and his crew saw something that changed their understanding of everything. Earth was not just a planet. It was the center of a vast industrial complex that stretched across the entire star system. Massive space stations orbited the sun, each one larger than the biggest cities they had ever seen. Streams of ships moved between the stations like rivers of light. Asteroid mines operated throughout the system, their robot workers harvesting raw materials on a scale that seemed impossible. "How many people live in this system?" Sun He asked. "About 50 billion, Commander Taeho said casually. "Most of them live on the orbital habitats. Earth itself has only about 8 billion people now. We keep the planet mostly natural." Earth hung before them like a blue and green jewel. It was beautiful in a way that made Baksu's chest feel tight. White clouds swirled over vast oceans. Green continents showed through the atmosphere. It looked peaceful and perfect. "It is hard to believe that so much power comes from such a beautiful world," Baksu said. "Beauty and strength are not opposites," Commander Taeho replied. "Earth taught us that we could be both gentle and powerful, both peaceful and prepared for war." They docked at a station called Gateway that orbited Earth itself. The station was enormous, with docking bays that could hold hundreds of ships. As they walked through the corridors, Baksu saw humans working alongside robots that looked almost alive. The technology was seamlessly integrated into everything. Dr. He-jin met them at the station. He was a scientist who specialized in studying alien technology. He was particularly interested in talking to Nari about her engineering experience. "We have been very isolated," Dr. He-jin explained as he led them through his laboratory. "We have watched other species from a distance, but we have had little direct contact. Your insights into galactic technology standards are very valuable to us." Nari was amazed by what she saw in the laboratory. Devices that seemed to violate the laws of physics. Materials that changed their properties based on need. Computers that appeared to think and feel like living beings. "How did you develop all this?" she asked. "Time, patience, and necessity," Dr. He-jin said. "When we first detected signals from galactic civilization, we realized we had a choice. We could reveal ourselves and hope for the best, or we could prepare for the worst while hoping for the best. We chose preparation." "How long did this take?" Nari asked. 300 years of constant work. Generation after generation of humans dedicating their lives to the goal of being ready, ready for anything. Meanwhile, Wu Jin was being shown Earth's military installations by Colonel Yunji. What he saw there was terrifying and impressive at the same time. Shipyards that stretched for thousands of kilometers, building vessels that made the ones at Kepler Station look small. Training facilities where human soldiers practiced with weapons that could level mountains. "Why do you need so many ships?" Wu Jin asked. "Because the galaxy is a dangerous place," Colonel Unji said. "We studied your histories. We learned about the wars, the genocides, the species that disappeared without explanation. We decided that if we were going to join galactic civilization, we would be strong enough to protect ourselves and others. But this seems like enough firepower to conquer the entire galaxy," Wu Jin said. "It is," Colonel Yunji agreed. "But conquest was never our goal. Protection was our goal. Sometimes the only way to protect good people is to be more dangerous than the bad people." Sun He was visiting Earth's medical facilities with Dr. In Young, one of their leading physicians. The medical technology was as advanced as everything else. Diseases that killed millions in other parts of the galaxy were easily cured here. Injuries that would cripple someone for life could be healed completely in days. "Your people must live very long, healthy lives," Sun He said. "We do," Dr. In Young confirmed. The average human lifespan is now about 300 years. Our oldest citizens have lived for over 400 years. This has given us something very valuable. What is that? Sun He asked. Perspective. When you know you will live for centuries, you plan for centuries. When you plan for centuries, you can accomplish things that seem impossible to shorter-lived species. While Baksu and his crew were learning about Earth, Supreme Commander Zor-Kek was preparing for battle. His fleet had tracked the human ships to a region called the Meridian Nebula. Intelligence reports suggested that a small human force was waiting there. Only 30 ships, Zor-Kek told his officers. Against our 200, these humans may have superior technology, but they cannot overcome such odds. What Zor-Kek did not know was that the humans had been preparing the Meridian Nebula for battle for over a month. Hidden weapon platforms were scattered throughout the region. Mines that could tear apart capital ships were positioned along likely approach routes. Gravity manipulators that could create artificial black holes were ready to activate. Admiral Myung-ho commanded the human force from his flagship. He had requested the honor of facing the Vex fleet personally. The collective had made the mistake of threatening those under Earth protection. That required a response. Admiral, Captain So-Young reported. Vex fleet detected at the edge of the nebula. 200 ships confirmed. They are moving in standard attack formation. Very good, Admiral Myung-ho said calmly. Signal all units. Prepare for battle. The Vex fleet entered the nebula like a swarm of angry insects. They were confident in their superior numbers. They had fought and won battles against odds before, but never this lopsided in their favor. Human ships detected, Zor-Kek's tactical officer reported. 30 vessels holding position near the nebula center. They appear to be waiting for us. Foolish, Zor-Kek said. They think their technology will save them. Today they learned that numbers matter more than fancy weapons. The Vex ships spread out in attack formation and began their advance. That was when the hidden defenses activated. The first Vex ship to die never saw what killed it. A mine the size of a small asteroid appeared next to it and detonated with the force of a small star. The explosion vaporized the ship and damaged 2 others nearby. What was that? Zor-Kek demanded. Before anyone could answer, more mines began, exploding throughout the Vex formation. Ships disappeared in balls of nuclear fire. Others were torn apart by gravity weapons that crushed them like paper. Evasive action, Zor-Kek ordered. Get us out of this minefield. But there was no way out. The entire nebula had been turned into a trap. Everywhere the Vex ships turned, they found more weapons waiting for them. Some weapons created artificial black holes that swallowed entire ships. Others fired beams that simply erased whatever they touched. In the center of the nebula, Admiral Myung-ho watched the battle with calm satisfaction. Signal the Vex commander, he said. Offer him one chance to surrender. The communication went out. Vex fleet, this is Admiral Myung-ho. You are trapped in a prepared killing field. Surrender now and your crews will be treated according to the laws of war. Continue fighting and you will all die. The destruction of the Vex 7th Fleet sent shockwaves across the galaxy. 200 ships wiped out by 30. The most powerful military force in the Outer Rim crushed in minutes. Every government, every military leader, every politician suddenly wanted to know more about these humans. Captain Baksu found himself at the center of it all. News reporters from dozens of species wanted to interview the captain who had first encountered humanity. His simple act of rescuing a stranger had become the most famous story in known space. Captain Baksu, asked Jex Tala, a reporter from the Galactic News Network, did you have any idea that saving one human would lead to such massive changes? Baksu sat in the interview chair aboard Gateway Station, still trying to understand everything that had happened. No, he said honestly. I just saw someone who needed help. That is what anyone should do. But you risked your ship and crew against the Vex to protect him, Jex Tala continued. Yes, Because no one should be treated as property. Because everyone deserves a chance to go home. The interview was broadcast across the galaxy. Within hours, Boksu received thousands of messages from beings throughout known space. Some thanked him for his courage. Others offered him jobs, money, or political positions. A few threatened him for bringing the humans into galactic affairs. Boksu ignored most of the messages, but one made him think. It came from a young Altarian named Kev Ross, whose family had been taken by slavers years ago. "Thank you, Captain," the message said. "Because of what you did, maybe others like my family will have a chance to come home too." That message reminded Boksu why he had made his choice. It was not about politics or power. It was about doing what was right. Meanwhile, the Galactic Council was meeting in emergency session. Representatives from over 100 species had gathered to discuss the human situation. The debate had been going on for days without resolution. Some council members wanted to welcome humanity immediately and offer them full membership. Others wanted to demand that Earth submit to galactic authority and limit their military forces. A few suggested that the major powers should unite against the humans before they became too powerful to stop. That debate ended when Ambassador G1 arrived. The Earth diplomatic ship that brought her was unlike anything the Council had ever seen. It looked more like a work of art than a spacecraft. Smooth curves, gleaming metal, and an energy signature that made every sensor in the Council chambers register impossible readings. Ambassador G1 herself was not what most Council members expected. She was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. She wore simple clothes and smiled at everyone she met. She looked like someone's grandmother, not the representative of a galactic superpower. "Honored council members," she said when she addressed the assembly, "I come before you, not to ask for permission to exist, but to discuss how we can work together for the benefit of all sapient life." Council leader Mortek, a massive reptilian being from the core worlds, spoke first. "Ambassador, your people have shown impressive military capabilities, but you are new to galactic civilization. There are established rules and procedures that govern interspecies relations." "I understand," Ambassador G1 said, "and Earth is willing to follow any rules that are fair and just. However, we will not accept restrictions based solely on our recent arrival. We will not be treated as junior partners simply because we revealed ourselves recently. Your military actions against the Vex were taken without council authorization," Mortek continued. "That kind of unilateral action threatens the stability of galactic peace." Ambassador G1's expression remained pleasant, but her voice became firmer. "The Vex attacked Earth citizens and threatened those who helped them. Earth will always respond to such attacks. We do not need permission to defend ourselves or our friends." "And who decides who your friends are?" asked Vel Nara, the representative from the Centauri Alliance. "We do," Ambassador G1 said simply. "Anyone who shows kindness to Earth citizens becomes a friend of Earth. Anyone who threatens, our friends threatens us. This is not negotiable." The council chamber erupted in discussion. Some representatives were angry at what they saw as arrogance. Others were worried about the implications. A few were quietly pleased that someone was finally standing up to the Vex. Council leader Mortek called for order. "Ambassador, you cannot simply declare unilateral protection for anyone you choose. That could lead to conflicts throughout the galaxy." "Then perhaps the galaxy needs better laws," Ambassador G1 said. "Laws that protect the innocent instead of protecting the powerful. Laws that punish slavery and genocide instead of ignoring them. Laws that reward compassion instead of punishing it." She activated a holographic display that showed the same map Captain So Young had shown at Kepler Station, hundreds of red dots indicating locations where crimes against sapient beings were taking place. Earth has identified over 300 locations where slavery, genocide, or other crimes against sapient life are currently happening. "We have evidence of governments that sell their own citizens. military forces that exterminate entire species for profit, corporations that conduct medical experiments on sentient beings. The council chamber fell silent. Everyone knew such things happened, but seeing the scope of it laid out was shocking. "What do you propose to do about this?" Mortek asked quietly. "We propose to stop it," Ambassador Jiwan said. "Peacefully where possible, by force where necessary, starting immediately." "You cannot police the entire galaxy," Velnara protested. "Watch us," Ambassador Jiwan said. Her grandmother-like smile never wavered, but there was steel in her voice. Over the following weeks, Earth kept its promise. Human ships appeared at slave markets across the Outer Rim. The slaves were freed, the slavers were arrested, the markets were shut down. When local governments complained, they were offered a choice: cooperate with Earth enforcement or face the consequences. Most chose cooperation. A few chose resistance. Those who resisted learned what the Vex had learned. Captain Baksu watched these events unfold from his new position as Special Ambassador for Interspecies Relations. It was a title that Earth had created specifically for him. His job was to help other species understand what humanity expected from galactic civilization. "You really meant it," he said to Donghyun during one of their regular meetings. "Earth really is going to change everything." "We told you," Donghyun replied. "Humans take care of their own, and we take care of those who take care of our own. You saved my life. That made you family. But this goes beyond one rescue," Baksu said. "Your people are reshaping the entire galaxy." "Because you proved it was worth reshaping," Donghyun said. "You showed us that there are good people out here, people who will risk everything to help a stranger. That told us that this galaxy has potential to become something better. The transformation was not immediate, and it was not without challenges. Some species resented Earth's intervention in their affairs. A few minor conflicts broke out when local powers tried to resist human enforcement actions. But Earth's response was always measured and proportional. They used exactly enough force to achieve their goals and no more. More importantly, they kept their promises. Species that cooperated with Earth received advanced technology, medical aid, and protection from those who would harm them. Trade agreements were fair and beneficial to all parties. Diplomatic disputes were resolved through negotiation rather than force. The Vex Collective formally surrendered after losing 3 more fleets to human forces. Their leadership was transported to Earth for trial. The surviving Vex citizens were offered the chance to join the new galactic order as equals, leaving behind their culture of conquest and slavery. 6 months after the rescue at the debris field, Captain Baksu stood on the observation deck of Gateway Station, watching Earth turn slowly below. His ship, the Silent Current, had been completely rebuilt with Earth technology. His crew had been offered positions in the Earth Diplomatic Corps. Nari was working with Earth engineers to develop new technologies. Wu Jin was training with Earth pilots to learn advanced flight techniques. Sun He was studying Earth medical science. "Any regrets?" Donghyun asked, joining him at the observation window. Baksu thought about the question. His life had changed completely. He was no longer a simple merchant captain. He was now a representative of humanity, helping to build a new galactic civilization, based on justice and compassion instead of power and fear. "No regrets," he said. "But sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had not stopped to investigate that life sign." "Someone else would have eventually," Donghyun said. "Earth was ready to reveal itself. We were just waiting for the right moment, the right reason." "And my rescuing you was the right reason?" "Your rescuing me proved that this galaxy was worth saving," Donghyun said. "It proved that there were people out here who shared our values. People who believed that doing the right thing was more important than doing the easy thing." Through the observation window, they could see ships from dozens of species docking at Gateway Station. Merchants, diplomats, scientists, and tourists. all of them benefiting from the new peace that Earth had helped create. "The galaxy is changing," Baksu observed.